Hey, I want to take some time here to talk about how the Chicago Bears, they have a weapon on offense that's almost an unfair advantage. It's almost like cheating. And that guy is Romo Odunze. And before you click off, before you think this is just another story, I want to delve into during this time that we have some extra time in the offseason to kind of go into some how are they made stories on these players. And I found this story on it's actually on his college website. It's on spokesman.com, and it kind of goes through some of the ways that Rome Odunze was built into the player that we have now in between years in college, where he showed his work ethic. And if you guys want to join us, we'll go through it. Something was said by ABC play-by-play man Chris Fowler, and this is when Romo Odunze pumped a fist after he caught the winning touchdown last season against number 9 Oregon. In so many ways, it was like his big time coming out party. And what Fowler said was, Odunze continues to be almost unfair at the college level. What I'm saying, to elaborate on that, I think what we have at wideout, it's so good it's almost cheating. We combine Romo Odunze with a player that's, I'd say, a bull in the china shop, and that's DJ Moore. He just goes after the ball so aggressively. We have a technician like Keenan Allen. Now we've drafted a glue guy that's a perfect bridge between the two. So there's two things that are absolutely clear about Romo Odunze. His work ethic, it's absolutely unmatched. I mean, we can go through the 3-cone drill story during the combine, how he was trying to get it perfect late into the night, still going after the coverage was pretty much over, and the score didn't even count towards his combine profile. That's great. We all know about that. But here's another thing. He is supremely confident. In essence, he's absolutely unafraid. And I wanted to get into how he was built, not only as a player, but as a man. And to get there, we got to kind of dig into how Odunze got to where he is. This article that I unearthed on spokesman.com, it's a main newspaper in Spokane, Washington from last year. And you guys read all the way through it, but I'm going to pull from this a bit. The statement that he's unafraid. Jamarcus Shepard. He served as a Huskies associate, head coach, and receivers coach. He gave some insight into Rome and the fact that he wasn't always this way. And this is from October of 2023. I'm always telling him how afraid he is of various things in his life, in his personal life, his football life. I tell him how scared he is, and he says to me over and over again that he fears only God. I love that. One of the things I told him that he's afraid of is just being a savage out there with 50-50 balls, and that NFL teams saw that he was afraid of that as well. That's and this is him talking to Odunze. That's the reason your draft stock wasn't as high as you thought it was going to be after last season. I believe right now he's a man on a mission to prove to everybody that if you put the ball even close to him, he'll come up with it. So we have that. I'm going to close down this story. You guys, I always want to give credit. That is such a fantastic source and such a great profile. You guys read all the way through it. So let's talk about Rome's response to that challenge. He put on an absolute display during Washington's win at 36-33 over this number 9 Oregon. He took over this game with 8 catches for 128 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he grabbed a ball in the third quarter right through the arms of Oregon cornerback Dante Manning. He ripped the ball away. And if you've seen the highlight, that's the one that he celebrated by rocking an imaginary baby, which was a lot of fun. Then in the fourth against man coverage, he had just a beautiful catch on a back shoulder bullet with a next level flip of the hips to make it possible. That's huge. He made it look casually easy. But these two plays are just a perfect explanation of who he is as a receiver. He is complete. And University of Washington offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb, he shares something about this. The amount of work that goes into that last play. Roan made that last play. It's hours and weeks and months of training and time and watching the ball. And that's what I'd like to get into, how hard Odunze works behind the scenes. That hip flip, that is like next level good, that is so advanced. And just the desire and tenacity to make your skill set the best in the country, that's Rome. And that's what Ryan Grubb had to say, continuing from that. So how this happened is not by accident. And this is really the meat of it. So in 2022, he led the Pac 12 in receiving yards. He was the first team all Pac 12 player, and it just wasn't enough for him. And this is in 2022. This was after 75 catches, 1,145 yards, 8 touchdowns. His reaction to that wasn't to rest on his laurels and just enter the draft. He had a reaction that actually put him on a mission. His mission was to get bigger and stronger without sacrificing speed or explosiveness. So the Huskies head strength and conditioning coach Rod McKeefery, I believe that's correct. Sorry, I'm terrible with names. He shared at the time, and this is a quote. Read it in this story as well. I always want to give credit. With all those receivers, it was a goal to put on a little mass and fight for these contested catches. So Rome, he put on 14 pounds total coming into 2023. The big factor there, it was trying to make sure that he put on lean body mass. Anybody can put on 14 pounds, right? I think I can if you eat the wrong stuff. But he was so diligent with his nutrition. There was constant check-ins with the director of football, performance nutritionist, doing DEXA scans that measured body fat and composition all through the process and making sure that mass was being put on the right way. It was just buying into the program, really. He worked hard. He got in there. He made it a point that every weight that he touched in the weight room, I'm getting stronger and I'm believing in the lifts. This is straight from Odunze. That really carried over for me with my muscle mass and body composition. As a result, Odunze improved in every measurable area. I mean, this is a kid who worked hard and he did it the right way. So let's look at this. This is 2022 compared to 2023. His weight went from 201 pounds to 215 pounds. His bench went from 265 to 285. His squat, this is a big jump, 405 to 430. His 40, this is with putting on 14 pounds of lean muscle mass. It went from a 4.5 to a 4.34. His broad jump went from 9 feet 7 inches to 10 feet 1 inch. His vertical, 35.8 inches to 37.1 inches. That's a full 2 inches. And we'll talk to Grubbs again. Asked for how he improved. He said it was easy. Working hard, weight room. He's 215 pounds now, and he looks stronger. He looks more physical, keeping his body healthy throughout the season. That was Rome's limiting factor, continuing to beat press coverage. That's where people are going to continue to look for answers against a big guy, right? I think as long as he can do that and be physical through it, he'll be even better. And we know this. The progression was huge. You all know the results. He then led college football with over 1,600 yards, 93 catches, 13 touchdowns. Now he was ready to ascend to the next level into the pros. And to hear McKeefery, with Rome, he's a competitor. I don't think last year he felt like he was the best. He wants to be the best. I think he was a man on a mission all last offseason. He really got in with Grubb and Shep, took his mental game to another level. He just got in there, trained his tail off, and put on size and mass while maintaining his speed and athleticism. I mean, this guy works hard. And what I love about him is that it's going to be infectious, right? It's going to make others in the locker room better through his influence. He is going to be such a good locker room guy here for the Bears. And I think maybe that the thing that goes most unnoticed about him, he's a glue guy. He has a history of uniting other guys together. He has a history of making others around him better. It's just such a really good thing. And he was fortunate to be in a locker room with guys like Jalen McMillan, Jeremy Bernard, Giles Jackson, Denzel Boston, like all these guys, they fed off each other. And Rome was a catalyst amongst that group. And it was a really good wide receiver core for Washington. A lot of those guys became better through Rome's influence. And I think that's going to continue to happen with the Chicago Bears. And I don't want to be too much of a hype man here, but I think Romo Odunze, combined with other receivers that we have, he doesn't have to be the number one right away, but having him there, it's almost an unfair advantage here. And I think we might have the receiver here. So many pundits are saying that he was the best pick in the whole draft. I think we're going to look at this in a couple years and we're going to see that Romo Odunze, he's toe to toe with MHJ. He is toe to toe with him once he gets more experience, once they're on the field. I think we're going to truly feel that way. And combined with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Swift, and we've got our two tight ends that are super good. And I think Caleb is the truth from everything that we're hearing. He's saying the right things. He's doing the right things. He's approaching things with a humble attitude. So I'm going to continue to believe that these red flags that we are talking about in the offseason, they do not appear to be there now. And I think a lot of it was conjecture. I fell into it a little bit. I think a lot of it was the media trying to get clicks, trying to tear him down. I think he might just be a good kid who's had a history of success, who's won the Heisman, who's been in LA in that pressure cooker of media scrutiny. And maybe this is going to be exactly what we need as Bears. Maybe it's going to be exactly what he needs as a player and as a man. And I know that we have a coaching staff that so many of these guys, they're not only really good coaches and really good teachers, they're also men of God. And that's become very evident. That's one of the first things that people say when they meet Coach Flus. That's what a lot of players have said upon their first introduction. And there's so many things that go in with that. It's just going to be a really good environment. I think it's going to be the best environment that we've ever had to enable us to form these young guys that are coming into the pros and actually form them as men as we're getting this team together and as we're getting ready to compete. So you guys are awesome. You watch week to week to week. I absolutely love doing this. Bear down. It's going to be a great off season, and I will see you in the comments. See ya.